Hello future engineers, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're still new to my channel and you like what I'm doing, please don't forget to share my videos to your friends and to your friends' friends. To your younger brothers and sisters who would want to take up engineering in the future, and to your relatives. That's one way you can keep me going, inspired and refreshed. Now, if you find my videos interesting and important to your studies, also please don't forget to subscribe. Let's have a problem on wind loads. So all members of the truss shown weigh 3.6 kilonewtons per meter. The vertical loads P are due to roof dead loads, while the vertical loads Q are due to ceiling loads. The weights of the members and the wind loads are not yet included in P and Q. The wind speed is 200 kilometers per hour, and wind pressure coefficients are positive 0.3 on AG and negative 0.5 on GE. Determine the force in member CH. The values of P and Q are 6 kilonewtons and 4 kilonewtons respectively. So I'll give you the hint. Only joints B and H must be carefully and correctly loaded in analyzing member CH. And why? Trusses are spaced 6 meters apart. So I will answer this. The reason why we only load B and H. So we do not load this right half anymore because we are interested only on the member force of CH. So it will be clear later as I consider a section here, and I consider forces to the left, and the other two unknown members will meet at A. So that's the reason why we only need to load B and H correctly and carefully. So pressure equals 0.0473 velocity square, where V is in kilometers per hour, and the resulting pressure is in pascals. So 0.0473 times 200 square, that is 1,892 pascals, or 1.892 kilopascals. Therefore, the wind load W normal to AG, I'll just use AG because, as I said, we don't need to load uh, GFE in analyzing the member force of CH. So W equals wind pressure coefficient 0.3 times wind pressure 1.892 kilopascals times the spacing of the trusses, which is 6 meters. So WAG is 0.3 times 1.892 times 6. So it is equal to 3.406 kilonewtons per meter. So the horizontal load on H, because we are only interested on joints H and B, is equal to this uniform wind load times the tributary projection. The total projection is 3, and since H is an interior joint, then its weight is times 2. So it's like this vertical dimension is divided by 4, and therefore this is 2 times 3 over 4, which is 1.5. And at supposedly A and G, it's only 0.75, 1/4 of 3. So I hope that you understood it. The horizontal component of wind load is 3.406 kilonewton per meter times 1.5 meters on H. 1.5, 0.75, half of 1.5 is 0.75, and up, and 0.75 below, so 1.5. At A and H, it's only 0.75 meter, or 3 over 4, 3/4 meter. So FWX at H, the wind load X component of wind load at H is 3.406 kilonewton per meter times 1.5 meters, which is 2 times 3/4, or 1.5 meters, times 2 for joint H. So the horizontal wind load at H is 5.109 kilonewtons rightward, as shown in the figure. Then for the vertical component, it is downward because it is positive uh, 0.3, and it is the horizontal projection or tributary projection is 1 meter left, 1 meter right, so 2 meters. So this should be multiplied by 2, 3.406 kilonewton per meter times 2 meters. Because at A it's only 1, at G it's also 1 for this component of wind load. So FWY at joint H is 6.812 kilonewton. So we are only interested at H, as I said, and the other component, vertical and horizontal, not important because they will be transmitted at G. When we sum up moments about A, they are not involved in the moment summation, as well as the horizontal and vertical component of wind load here, as well as the weight of the members to be transmitted at A, they are not important. So it is shown in the figure. Then the weight of members attached to B is equal to, so this is 2 meters, 2 meters, 1.5 meters. So square root of 2 square plus 1.5 square, the length of AH is 2.5 meters, CH 2.5 meters, and GH is also 2.5 meters. So weight at B is equal to 3.6 kilonewton per meter times quantity 1 plus 1 plus 0.75, where the first one is half of AB, half of 2 meters, to be transmitted at B, half of BC, which is 1 meter, half of 2 meters, and half of BH, which is 0.75 meter. There are 3 members attached to joint B. So this should also be half of the length of the 3 members attached to B. So it is equal to 9.9 kilonewtons, and that's downward. At H, the total weight, there are 3 members of length 2.5, so only half should be accounted for. So 3.6 times 3 times 1.25, half of 2.5 is 1.25 meters, then plus 0.75, half of 1.5. So weight at H is 3.6 times 3 times 1.25 plus 0.75, and that is equal to 16.2 kilonewtons. So the total vertical load at B, Y load at B is 2Q, 2 times 4 kilonewtons for Q, then plus the weight of members attached to B, 9.9 kilonewtons. So that would be 17.9 kilonewtons. The total X component of load at H is 5.109, and that's already here. The total vertical load at H consists of 2P plus wind load 6.812, then plus the weight of members transmitted at H, which is 16.2. So Ly at H is equal to 2 times 6 plus 6.812 plus 16.2, and that is equal to 35.012 kilonewtons downward. We now consider the free body diagram of the left portion of this cutting section here, and it is now clear why only joints B and H must be carefully and correctly loaded, because the other unknowns GH and BC meet at A. So we don't load A anymore. I'll just present the loadings there, but they are not important because we sum up moments about A. So this is CH, these are the other unknowns. Obviously, their lines of action meet at A, and I apply principle of transmissibility of a force here, because if you sum up moments about A, there are 2 components of SCH that have moment about A. So that only one component of SCH will have moment about A, I move it here on its line of action. There are 2 components, horizontal and vertical, but the vertical components of SCH is important, and that vertical component is SCH times 1.5 over 2.5. 1.5 over 2.5 is like 3 over 5, because the slope is 3 vertical, 4 horizontal, 2 meters divided by 0.5, 4, 1.5 divided by 0.53, and the hypotenuse is 5. So these are the components. The vertical component is important because the horizontal component also passes through A. So this is SCH times 3 over 5, that vertical component there. So we are now ready to solve for the magnitude of the force SCH, or the force in member CH. We sum up moments about A equals 0, clockwise positive. So SCH times 3 over 5, the moment arm is 4 meters. Then plus 5.109, moment arm 1.5. Then plus, we combined 35.012 and 17.9. And the moment arm is 2. So plus quantity 35.012 plus 17.9 times 2 equals 0. So using your calculator, we can now solve SCH, and SCH is equal to negative 47.29 kilonewtons. So meaning it is a compression member. That's it for this problem, and I hope that you were able to follow it. You're already a student in structural theory. Even students in statics can understand this, supposedly the solution.